Subramania Bharati portrayed the Tamil nation of his time, which was subjected to its foreign domination, as a submissive people, overwhelmed by fear and slave mentality. Over the past 1,000 years, many forces from within and outside the Tamil nation have been determined to extinguish the Tamil, eliminating them from the annals of history. They are determined to do so even today. However, after the emergence of the liberation struggle for Tamil Elam, the thoughts of the Tamils began to gain momentum. There exists an abundance of research about the Tamils of Tamil Elam. This extensive research is utilized and referenced throughout this narration. This production is released in digital video format, DVD, both in English and Tamil, and in simple language so that all of us can have access to this information. This DVD, The Heroic Land of Thundamanaru in the History of Tamil Elam, depicts how the history of this village is entwined with the valiant history of Tamil Elam. This production illustrates the rich values of our heritage and describes the contributions of several great leaders from this village that have made Tamil Elam a proud nation. Let all people rejoice watching this DVD, which presents the glory of our homeland.
Tamil Elam is a land of abundant cultural and natural beauty. The Tamils are not only the indigenous people of Elam, but also the descendants of gallant leaders who sacrificed their lives to protect and preserve their country. When the Tamil poets gathered at the Tamil Academy in Madurai in Tamil Nadu to undertake research in Tamil, the poets of Elam also participated. Elam is bestowed with the rare natural beauty, with the tall mountains, winding rivers, and the 9 gems and precious stones found in these rivers. The Hindu temples found along the coastal areas of the island, from Devandurai to Point Pedro, and on Adam's Peak, the highest point on the land, stand erect as noble as the minds of Tamils. The numerous temples found throughout Elam, despite the destruction caused by foreigners on several occasions, bear testimony to the devotion and compassion possessed by the Tamils. The Thirukediswaram temple, which was worshipped by Lord Kedu, and the Thirukoneswaram temple, worshipped by Ravana, were praised by saints Thirunyana Sambandar and Sundaramurtiyar in their devotional hymns. Similarly, Arunagirinathar paid tribute to Kadirkamam in his hymn Thirupugal. Munneswaram, Naguleswaram, Mamangam, Nallur Kandasamy temple, and Thundamanaru Selva Sannidhi temple are some of the renowned ancient places of Hindu worship in Elam. Thundamanaru has had a significant role in the history of Elam. It was an important harbour in Jaffna, similar to the ancient city of Pumbuhar in Tamil Nadu, India. The Emperor Mamalla and later the Chola captain Tondeman deepened an existing lagoon in Thundamanaru known as Valli Nadi to create the harbour. This lagoon later became known as the Thundamanaru Lagoon. Thundamanaru was also referred to as Uppumal in ancient times because salt and many other food items were collected and stored there to be shipped to Tamil Nadu. Many rulers from the Jaffna kingdom use this harbour and a subterranean chamber in the vicinity known as Pilattuvaram for the safe passage to India. In 1916, Sinna Mahapillai, a local chief who wanted to wage war against the Portuguese, brought his forces through Thundamanaru, which was also known as Muhattuvaram at the time. Elam or Ulangay in ancient times was referred to by different names. Numerous geographical and ancient literary sources give us surprising information about this island. So we are inclined to wonder whether modern history books have been deliberately thrust upon us to mislead. Through a study of these geographical and ancient literary works, we are able to learn a great deal about the actual history of this island. However, much still remains a mystery. The inundation of the sea over many thousands of years and how it affected the Indian subcontinent are well known to us through geographical and geological evidence. However, we have not found any concrete answers regarding the destruction of the great Dravidian civilizations from Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. It is the same with regards to the fate of the Lemuria continent, the lost city of Pumbuhar, and the original Koneswaram temple that was worshipped by King Ravana, all of which are believed to have been buried under the sea thousands of years ago. We have also not found valid information as to the type of civilization that existed in Madottam, Manipallavam, and Tirikudam. These unanswered queries are closely tied to the ancient history of Ceylon. The Mahavamsa and the Chulavamsa have, for some time, been considered primary sources of evidence for the history of Ceylon. According to these literary resources, the history of Ceylon commences with Buddha's attainment of nirvana in 543 BC. It is said that Vijayan came to Ceylon on this day. The Mahavamsa is a legend written in the 5th or 6th century AD by Mahanama, a Buddhist priest. In other words, it was written almost 1,000 years after Buddha attained nirvana. This is similar to the Ramayana, which researchers believe was written by a North Indian sage, Valmiki, in the 3rd century BC, many years after the Ramayana is said to have taken place. According to the Mahavamsa, Vijayan, the first ruler of the Sinhalese, was exiled from Kalinga state in India in 543 BC by his father as punishment for his evil deeds. He came to Ceylon as a refugee. The Mahavamsa also admits that before the advent of Vijayan and during the time of Buddha, there was a ruling dynasty in the north of the island of Ceylon, which was very much respected by Lord Buddha. This civilization is said to have extended its authority to 500 linear measures in the sea. Chapter 1, verse 44 of the Mahavamsa states the following. When Buddha realized that there was going to be a civil war between two Nagas, Mahodharan and his nephew Kuladharan, over the succession of the gem-set throne of Nagadeepa in northwestern Ceylon, he felt sympathetic with the Nagas of Nagadeepa and went there to restore peace between the two contenders. Mahodhara Naga's authority extended to 500 linear measures in the sea. Buddha visited this island 3 times. This statement was mentioned in the Mahavamsa with the intent to glorify the importance of Buddha. Existence in the form of travelers' reports and ancient literary works bear testament to the existence of the Naga kingdom in Elam and many parts of the Indian subcontinent. According to the Mahavamsa, the Nagas lived in the northern part of Elam. There was a tendency in the Mahavamsa to portray the Nagas as not human. However, evidence demonstrates that the Nagas had a highly developed culture and technology. Many researchers are of the opinion that the Nagas, with their lifestyle, their customs and traditions, were referred to as a leading civilization, and the places they lived were called cities. There are several ancient literary publications that make reference to the Naga civilization. The Ramayana states that, during the period of the epic, which was around 3500 BC, Mande was a great city located in the northwestern shores of Ulam. Great kings from the south of Ulam, Kuberan and Ravana, married princesses Padumakovale and Mandodare from this noble Naga kingdom. Artisans from Mande, well known for their skills, made their air cruisers aircraft used by Kuberan and Ravana. The iron fort that was used by the rulers of Mande, which existed even during the Vijaya's period, was mentioned in a book written by the Chinese traveler Hiuin Suang, who passed through Ulam. Ancient Tamil literature, the Mandai Pallu, Purananuru, and Chilapadikaram also make reference to these forts and the city of Mandai. The Mahabharata, another great Hindu epic, mentions that before 1500 BC, Arjuna went on a pilgrimage to Manipura around Nakula Malay in Ulam, where he met the beautiful lady Chitrangani, fell in love and got married to her. Evidence such as these show that the Nagas lived in Ulam before 3000 BC and that Nagadeepa, their capital, was a famous city during the time of Buddha. A great kingdom flourished concurrently in the south of Ulam. The Iyakas were a Tamil civilization similar to, and with many connections to, the Naga civilization. Researchers believe that Ravana was a ruler of southern Ulam around 3500 BC. Ravana was an intelligent person who enjoyed Tamil music. He was also a devotee of Lord Shiva. The Mahavamsa makes reference to this civilization in the south of Ulam when it states, Buddhism is going to thrive later in Ceylon. The country is full of yakas. They have to be chased from there first and foremost. What is to be noted here is that it is not Buddhism, but the Mahavamsa, written so many thousands of years after the time of Buddha and the demise of Ravana, which preaches that the descendants of Ravana should be wiped out of Ceylon. Buddha did not preach what the Mahavamsa says. In contrast, the Mahavamsa incorporated the exalted teachings of Lord Buddha. Contradicting the traditional claim that Mahinda was sent to Ceylon to spread the religion, the Tamils of Ulam respected Buddhism as a religion long before the advent of Vijayan. This proves that Buddhism is not the property of one particular race as it is claimed now. Although the Yakkas and the Nagas were Dravidian, indigenous Tamil people, there were certain differences with regards to their culture and form of worship. It is believed that both their languages could be derivations of Old Tamil, Ilu. If some consider these civilizations to be fables or legend, it is not their fault, since until now there has been no clear evidence to believe otherwise. Now these facts are brought to light through the work of many researchers. Hence, there is the necessity to re-examine and make a clear assessment of our history. Vijayan was a Hindu who came to Ceylon from the city of Lala in the state of Orissa, India, in 543 BC. The place he reached was a territory inhabited by the Iyakkas. Although at first he got married to the Iyakka princess Kuveni, he later made association with the Naga kingdom in the north for his security and honor. There he received much help and married his second bride. Scholars doubt the claim in Sinhalese chronicles that Pandian, the great South Indian ruler, would have given his daughter in marriage to Vijayan, who was chased away from India for his immoral behavior. In fact, South Indian rulers did not have any matrimonial alliances with the Sinhalese rulers at that time. Vijayan, during his lifetime, patronized many renowned Hindu temples in different parts of Ceylon because, as stated in the Mahavamsa, Buddhism had not reached the island at this time. Buddhism spread to Ceylon during the reign of Devanambiyatissa in 250 to 300 BC. Devanambiyatissa, son of King Muttasivan, converted himself to Buddhism. The Mahavamsa also states that prior to this, the Tamils in South India and Nagadvipam had accepted Buddhism and that Lord Buddha had visited Ceylon 3 times. Therefore, there must have been a well-developed society in Ceylon during Buddha's time in order to receive his preaching. However, it is commonly stated that the Emperor Asoka had sent his son Mahinda with a branch of the Bo tree to spread Buddhism in Ceylon in 250 to 300 BC. Dr. S.K. Sittambalam, in his research book entitled Jaffna and Ancient History, states that what is now known as the Jaffna Peninsula once consisted of 2 main islands with important cities, including Manipallavam and Kadaramale, and many harbors. It had a great civilization with a well-developed social organization. This information is also mentioned in the Mahabharata in connection with the marriage of Archana and Chitrangani, as well as in other ancient epics such as Manimugale, Perumbanattuppade, and Pattinapale. The Pattinapale mentions that salt and food items were exported from Ceylon to Kaveri Pumpattinam in Tamil Nadu. Salt was produced in Ceylon in the Jaffna Peninsula, particularly in Elephant Pass, Karanavai, and Valleiparavai. During this period, Thondamanaru provided the shortest and safest sea route to export goods to Kaveri Pumpattinam. According to Manimugale and Perumbanattuppade, the Chola prince Killivalavan went south to the Naga kingdom, got married to the Naga princess Pulivale, and returned to his country. Killivalavan and Pulivale were blessed with a son. Pulivale handed the child over to a trader, Kamban Chetty, who was engaged in trade between Nagadvipa and Tamil Nadu, to be given to Killivalavan. When Kamban Chetty was traveling with the child at sea, the ship was wrecked in a storm. Killivalavan heard the news of the loss of his son from Kamban Chetty and was devastated. However, the child, covered with Tonde Kodi, reached the coast and was handed over to the Chola king. Because the child reached the Chola king by traveling through the sea and was found wrapped with the Tonde Kodi, the child was called Tondeman Ilandiriyan, and he became the ruler of Tonde Mandalam. Tonde Kodi, a vine found along the Valli Nadi, the present Thondamanaru, lies in the area where the Tondean tribe lived. The Valli Nadi, as previously mentioned, was an important seaport for traders at the time. Professor S.K. Sittambalam also points out in his book that in the 2nd century AD, the place where Kambalchetti started his journey and the place from which the child was sent to Tamil Nadu were the same place known as Thondamanaru. The village of Thondamanaru is also referenced in Kalki's historical novel Ponniyin Selvan, which takes place during the period of Raja Cholan. In Part 2, Chapter 40 of this tale, Kalki mentions that Arunmozhivarman, who became the great emperor Raja Cholan, came to Ceylon to restore peace. According to this book, Arunmozhivarman traveled through Thondamanaru because it was the easiest and quickest route to his kingdom. The author describes the journey as follows. When he came to know that there were 2 boats waiting to see him at the port of Thondamanaru, he decided to go and meet them. The emperor traveled from Arunadpura to Elephant Pass with his army. Then, leaving the army behind, he came swiftly along the coast to the port of Thondamanaru, riding on an elephant. Kalki also mentions in the same novel that when there were political disturbances in Ceylon in the 7th century AD, Manavarma, the ruler of Ulam at the time, sought the help of the Pallava ruler Narasimhan. Narasimhan sent an army to Thondamanaru to help Manavarma. The novel further details that the port of Thondamanaru was deepened for the safety and easy access of the Pallava army. The port of Thondamanaru was again referenced in the 8th century. The ruler of Jaffna, Ugrasingan, was camping at Kirimale on a circuit tour when he met Thondaiman from Thondaimandalam during the period of 710 to 720 AD. Thondaiman wanted to export the salt produced from Karanavai and Vallaiparavai to Tamil Nadu and asked for permission from Ugrasingan to deepen the Valli Nadi and use it as a port to expedite this trade. The Yalpana Vaibhavamale, written by Mailvagana Pulavar, corroborates this transaction. The warehouse where the salt was kept to be exported was known as Uppumal. The location of this warehouse is known by the same name even today. During the period 1060 to 1070 AD, the ruler of the southern part of Ulam, Vijayabahu, sought the help of Kulothunga Cholan to consolidate his power. Kulothunga Cholan sent his army commander Karunagara Pallava Thondaiman, well known for his role in the Kalinga War, to help Vijayabahu. Karunagara Pallava Thondaiman was able to win the war and establish the kingdom of Jaffna. By deepening the Valli Nadi canal, Thondaiman was able to secure the safety of the coastal area and establish a military base there. He then settled his people in that region. Greater detail on this event is found in Mr. C. Nagalingam's research article that was submitted to the Second World Tamil Conference. The Kalinga War that took place in the 11th century AD bears testimony to the bravery of the Tamils as great warriors. The famous poet Sayankondar wrote the Kalingattu Parani to celebrate the victory of Kulothunga Cholan in the Kalinga War. Sayankondar pays tribute to Kulothunga Cholan and praises Karunagara Thondaiman for bringing the Kalinga state under the authority of the Chola Empire. It is clear from the Kalingattu Parani that the ancestors of Thondaiman were the rulers of Thondaimandalam and that Thondaiman was a tributary king of the Chola state close to the border of Kannada state. The capital of this territory was Vandalur. Evidence indicates that Thondaimannaru was a military base during the regime of Thondaiman and the rulers of the Jaffna kingdom who followed. The families of army leaders lived in Thondaimannaru as well. Areas in Thondaimannaru were named Attipadai Aandavan Kollai, Nayinichiyar Kollai, Sedupadiyar Kandu, Rakavalavu, and Panikkavalavu. These names relate to authorities and military personnel who inhabited the village and can be confirmed with legal documents for the land. Attipadai Aandavan Kollai refers to the land where the army division leader lived. Nayinichiyar Kollai was where Sellupadi Kandar, an army chief from Vanni, resided. Nayan and Kandar are titles given to the army chiefs of Vanni. The members of the Rakka family were responsible for checking those who crossed the Thondaimannaru lagoon by boat. Hence that area was known as Rakka Valavu. The Mahamamsa mentions that the rulers of Ceylon at the time employed many members of the Rakka family, including Parakramabahu I and Vikramabahu as army chiefs. The term Panikkar refers to teachers of different skills who lived around the mountainous regions of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Members of the Panikkar family were employed as instructors to train the army recruits at the Thondaimannaru military base. All of these families that settled in Thondaimannaru brought with them unique customs and traditions, some of which were in practice until recently. One of the rituals that was once in common in Thondaimannaru was first adopted in Panikka Valavu. Some families from the surrounding areas of Panikka Valavu followed the custom of giving a ceremonial bath to the bride on the day of her marriage by taking her to a well in Panikka Valavu instead of performing the ceremony at home. After bathing, the bride would wear new clothes and would be escorted to her house. Over the last 50 years, this ritual has been abandoned. Another marriage tradition mentioned in this folk song of having the bridegroom ride on horseback on the day of his wedding was not practiced in Thondaimannaru, but may have been followed when families lived in Tamil Nadu. It was the custom of warriors to wear anklets to show bravery when they entered the battlefield. This tradition disappeared in Thondaimannaru a long time ago. However, in the fraternal village of Valvatittura, this habit existed even recently. In Valvatittura, when Mr. Rasamanikam, a gentleman of majestic bearing, wore an anklet and went to the temple, no conflicts or disturbances occurred among the people. This fact is also supported by Mr. S. Nagalingam in his research article submitted in the Third World Tamil Research Conference held in Jaffna. These traditions bear testimony to the cultured nature of the people of Thondaimannaru. In 1325, Martande Singan Ariyan Pararajasekharan became the ruler of the kingdom of Jaffna. Ibn Battuta, a great traveler from Africa, visited the Jaffna kingdom in 1344 AD, and he wrote a remarkable account of the empire. He mentioned that during the reign of Singe Ariyan Pararajasekharan, the kingdom became very powerful and the Tamil language and Hinduism found rapid expansion throughout Ceylon. Ibn Battuta was surprised to see the powerful navy of the Jaffna monarchy. Cinnamon and eaglewood were gathered and exported to foreign countries from the coast of the kingdom. Battuta was able to reach Colombo with the help of the king of Jaffna. From there he travelled to Adams Peak through Ratnapura and went on to Devandurai at the southern end of the island. There he found great Hindu temple with an idol of a deity made of gold. He also mentioned in his report that there were 1,000 priests and ascetics in addition to 500 dancers residing in the temple. The Veera Mahakali Amman temples, located in Thondaimannaru and to the north of Nallur, were built by Pararajasekharam during his rule in 1478 AD. The details of their inception are corroborated by the temple's deeds that are preserved in the Jaffna Kacheri. The right to administer these temples was entrusted to a single family. It is important to know that Veera Mahakali Amman was worshipped by the armed forces. Hence, these temples were built in areas inhabited by them. To the east of the Thondaimannaru Veera Mahakali Amman temple, there is an area called Mandabakadu. This is a subterranean chamber about a square mile in area and 20 feet below the surface of the earth that contains several rooms. This place was earlier known as Pulattuvaram and was used by kings of the Jaffna kingdom. Pulavar Muttuthambi Pillai refers to Pulattuvaram on page 42 of his book, History of Jaffna, published in 1915. According to this historical narration, Pulattuvaram was constructed by the Tamil kings to use in times of emergency when there was a great threat to their safety. In 1410, the ruler of the kingdom of Jaffna wanted to wage war against Alageswaran, so the king marched over land and sea with a massive force and attacked him in Columbu and Panandura. However, the king's forces were defeated and later withdrew to Jaffna. Reaching Thondaimannaru, the king took refuge in Pulattuvaram. The chamber was located about 500 meters from the sea and consisted of a hall and a small palace at its entrance. The legend states that there is a safe route, a tunnel, connecting the sea to the Pulattuvaram. In